Good morning. Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne and eczema and psoriasis and rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing, renewing, regenerating system designed divinely to renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, skin health, ingredients, formulation, something you may have read about or heard about, we want to hear from you. We can help you out. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. 844-236-6010. And of course, if you have a success story or even if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. We'll get your calls in the bottom of the hour, as we always do. If you're interested in purchasing any of our longevity products, any of the products we recommend or advertise in the program, please head over to my website, brightsideben.com, or my blogs, pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com, both of which we update regularly with news stories as well as blog posts. Thank you to Robert Lundgren and Jonathan Collier for setting those up. Also, you can call the Brightside Ben phone team to order products or sign up to join the Brightside Ben team. Call 1-866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. And if you want to purchase any of our skin health products, Truth Treatment Skin Health products, retinol 5% gel, you're not going to see that anywhere else, folks. Retinol 5%. That's not a mistake. 5%. If you go to a salon or doctor's office or anywhere where you buy intense, powerful retinol products, you'll get maybe 1% or 2% max, usually around 0.5%. And don't be bamboozled by the silly, misleading, dishonest products on the internet that say they have 2.5% or 5% or 4% retinol. They don't. If you're not paying over $100 for your retinol product, the chances are pretty good that you got a fraudulent product, because retinol is very pricey and also very unstable for that matter. But if you use our Truth Treatment products, not only will you not have to deal with instability issues, but you're going to get a kick butt. I'm talking 5 times the amount of retinol that you'll see in even the most intense retinol products. Not to mention vitamin C, not to mention no preservative, no fragrance, no silicone, no oil, no fillers, no waxes, no nothing that your skin doesn't need. That's what the Truth is all about. All right, we're talking inflammation and fats. And when I say fats, I'm talking essential fatty acids, EFAs. This is all as it has to do with the skin and hormones. And really, EFAs are tremendously, tremendously multifunctional. And the fact that they're so important, multifunctional, they're involved in so many different systems in the body, is one of the reasons why trans fats, hydrogenated fats, processed fats, cooked fats are so problematic. You know, in a way, our health crisis parallels the health crisis and nobody would deny that we have a serious health crisis in this country with chronic degenerative diseases and inflammatory diseases and cancer and autoimmune diseases. We got a serious health mess going on. And ironically, or maybe not ironically, our health challenges have increased at the same rate as our ingestion of these kinds of fats. In fact, the development and the entrance and the building up of these kinds of fats in the food supply, processed fats, and hydrogenated fats and trans fats, as they make up over the course of a century or so, as they've made up more and more larger proportions of our dietary calories. Heart disease has gone up, cancer has gone up, autoimmune disease has gone up. They almost went up parallel. We developed these kinds of fats, these processed fats and trans fats, about the turn of the 20th century. Crisco was the first one, actually the mid-19th century. But really, they didn't get going. We didn't get these trans fats and hydrogenated fats and processed fats didn't really get going as such a major component of our daily caloric intake until probably the early 20th century, early 1900s. And right along with the increase in the proportion of our caloric intake that these fats made up, right along with that increase came an increase of all the diseases that we suffer from, and for good reason. Because when your body doesn't have EFAs, which most of us don't, it will substitute these processed fats and trans fats into cells, into cellular chemistry, and it doesn't work because they're not the same things. They're destroyed. They're manipulated. They're deteriorated. They're frankenfats. They're monstrous fats, and the body's trying to stick them in cells and stick them in chemistry. You can't help but have inflammatory diseases. You can't help but have circulatory diseases. You can't help but have immune system diseases. You can't help but have neurological issues. The body's trying to use French fry fat to make cells. It's trying to use French fry fat to create chemistry. It ain't going to happen, and the net result has to be disease. So if you had to pick one thing, I hate to have to say pick one thing, but you have to pick one supplement, a case could certainly be made for that supplement being your ultimate EFAs or being essential fatty acids. The EFAs are the molecules of inflammation, among other things. They do a lot of things, but for our purposes here, at least today, they're the molecules of inflammation, meaning when the body needs to inflame, i.e. protect itself, that's what inflammation is. When the body needs to protect itself by inflammation, it uses EFAs. Specifically, it uses omega-6s. Remember, there's two kinds, omega-6 and omega-3. It uses the omega-6s to inflame, and when it needs to calm down, it uses the omega-3s. Tweaked versions of the omega-6s. Tweaked versions. They're called eicosanoids or prostaglandins, but we're just going to call them omega-6s and omega-3s. So when the body needs to inflame, it uses the 6s. When it needs to calm down, it uses the 3s. And these inflammatory and anti-inflammatory things, responses, chemistry, it's always happening in the body. That means omega-6s and omega-3s are constantly being used up. And that's why you need a steady supply of both. That's why you need the ultimate EFAs every day, throughout the day, really. So I say 3 capsules in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. If you have any health challenge and you're deficient in your EFAs, that health challenge will improve once you start supplementing. And if you have any health challenge, the chances are pretty good that EFAs are involved or deficiencies are out of balance. If we ingest the trans fats and the hydrogenated fats, and the body tries to stick these French fry fats into cells and chemistry, that's a problem. That's a big problem. But it's also a problem if we get the wrong balance of omega-6s, the pro-inflammatory omega-6s, to the omega-3s. But we're going to throw off the balance of inflammation to anti-inflammation, and that can also be a problem. So it can be a problem if we ingest the cooked, processed, French fried, potato chip fats, or it can also be a problem if we get the wrong balance of 6s to 3s. And guess what? In 21st century America, if we're not supplementing or we're not aware of our nutritional intake, we're going to be out of balance, because aside from the fact that it's difficult to get EFAs in general because they're so unstable and they're not found in foods, aside from that, most of the foods we eat are omega-6 foods, not omega-3 foods. Most of the oils we eat are omega-6 oils and not omega-3 oils. That's because of cost. That's because of money. That's because of price. Omega-3s are pricey. Omega-6s are cheap. Omega-6s are commodities. Omega-3s require going out of your way to get them. And that's why most of us, or one of the reasons why most of us, are so out of whack in our omega-6s to omega-3s, and it's why supplementing is so important, because in a supplement you get the right balance if it's a well-formulated supplement like the Ultimate EFAs. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got more to say about fats and inflammation, and you and your phone calls at 844-236-6010. We'll be back after this.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, we're back on the bright side. Got lines open for you at 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products or formulations or ingredients, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, if you or a loved one has a health challenge, we'd love to hear from you. 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, head over to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can order products right off the website or sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the website as well. Okay, so omega-3s, omega-6s, seriously fundamental aspect of nutrition. Fats tend to be pricey, much pricier than the water-soluble nutrients, the B's and the C's certainly, and the electrolytes. In fact, I would say fats and fatty vitamins too, but especially your essential fatty acids are going to be the most expensive of your nutritional supplements. That's because they're so unstable. And this instability also means that unless you're supplementing, you're probably not going to get the EFAs that you need. And that's a big problem because these things are super related to the inflammatory system. They are the inflammatory system and the anti-inflammatory system. Now, aside from the fact that we don't get enough EFAs in total and that we get the wrong kinds of fats, and this is behind a lot of our health challenges, including heart disease, EFA deficiency is way more connected to heart disease, by the way, than cholesterol, this idiotic, with a capital I, idea that cholesterol causes heart disease. It's not even an idea. Do you know nobody would ever tell you that cholesterol causes heart disease who has even an iota of understanding about how biochemistry works? But it's a correlation issue. They don't say it causes it. They say it's related. It's correlated. That's nonsense. But EFA deficiency is causally related to heart disease. That means it causes heart disease. Nobody's going to tell you that cholesterol causes heart disease. They'll tell you, well, it seems to be related. It seems that there's a higher proportion of people who have heart disease and have high cholesterol. No, there ain't no causal relationship. Nobody's ever shown a causal connection between cholesterol and heart disease. On the other hand, if you understand chemistry and biochemistry, you can see how a deficiency in EFAs is going to be a classic mechanism for causing heart attacks and strokes and thick blood and all the other aspects of cardiovascular disease. Even the drug companies know this. This is what Lovesa is about. Lovesa is a EFA, omega-3, fake omega-3 fat that costs you $100 or $120 a month. For your doctor will write a prescription for it. Now, your insurance company might pay for it, but you get the real stuff out of food and out of your ultimate EFAs. So anyway, EFA deficiency is a big problem. Out of balance EFAs are also a problem. The deck is stacked towards omega-6s in our culture, in our food processing culture, how we eat, especially processed foods. The deck is stacked towards omega-6s because they're cheaper than the omega-3s. Omega-6s are abundant in nature. Pro-inflammatory omega-6s are found everywhere, particularly in grains, which is what most of us are eating, or what the standard American diet largely consists of. Even animals today that ordinarily don't eat grains are fed grains. Even our fish are fed grains. Even our cows are fed grains. Why? Because grains are cheap. We're out of balance on omega-6s and omega-3s for money reasons, for commodity reasons, for cheapness reasons. It's how we get to buy a hamburger for $1. You notice how ridiculously cheap fast food is? A hamburger for I don't even know. I haven't been to a McDonald's in a while or any of those places, but they're less than $1 for a hamburger. Why? Because they're all subsidized. The cows are all subsidized. The meat is subsidized via grain by government subsidies to corn farmers and grain farmers. Not that I'm ripping on farmers, by the way. But the fact is that the grains that the cattle are eating are ridiculously cheap because they're subsidized. That gives us cheap burgers, and that gives us, for most of us anyway, an out-of-balance that throws off our balance of omega-6s to omega-3s. It's very easy to get the omega-6s. It ain't so easy to get the omega-3s. Omega-3 is technically called ALA, alpha linoleic acid. That's technically the term for omega-3, ALA. Or I shouldn't say that. I should say the essential fatty acid version of omega-3 is called ALA. There's other types of omega-3, but they're not essential. Remember, essential means air. Essential means water. Essential means love. Essential means you better have it or you're going to die. Essential nutrients are nutrients that your body can't make, but they're like air. You need them or you're going to die. There's only one essential omega-3. There are lots of omega-3s, or there's a few omega-3s, but there's only one that is essential. It's called ALA. It's found in grass. It's found in seeds. Wheatgrass, by the way, is a tremendous source. Alfalfa. Grass in general is just amazing stuff. I find that very interesting how the whole earth, the whole planet is covered with grass. Even the ocean is covered with grass, ocean grass, seaweed, algae. And grasses are, I'm thinking among the most powerful foods you could ever eat, but you could make a case that they are the most powerful food you could ever eat. Grasses in the form of seaweed, grasses in the form of wheatgrass juice. Can't eat grass straight because we don't have the digestive system for eating it, but the biggest animals in the world do it. Why do you think the biggest animals in the world eat grass? Elephants eat grass. Giraffes eat grass. Water buffalo eat grass. Cows eat grass. Gorillas eat grass and leaves. Grass and leaves. Grass and leaves are very similar. And then in the ocean, whales eat grass, ocean grass. The largest animals in the world subsist on grass because grass is majorly nutritionally dense, and it's especially nutritionally dense, especially a good source of fats. How interesting. You look at your grass and you say, well, there's no fat in this. It doesn't look very fatty, but it is. Grass is a wonderful source of fats. Seaweed is a wonderful source of fats. Very interesting how these foods, which appear to be mostly water, are great sources of good fats and, for that matter, fatty vitamins. Vegetables are powerful, powerful, powerful foods. Now, I don't go as far as, vegetarians and say only eat vegetables, but there's no arguing the fact that they are the powerful foods on the planet. Even animal foods are derived from vegetables. That's how cows make their meat. That's how animals make their flesh. And their milk, for that matter. By eating grass, by eating leaves. Vegetation is incredibly powerful. Even though it doesn't look substantial, a leaf. My dad used to call leaf food rabbit food. And a lot of people have this idea that leaves and grass are somehow insubstantial food. They don't appear to be substantial. But in essence, a leaf and a plant, a vegetable, the difference between, there's a big difference between vegetables and fruits, even though we lump them together. You can always tell a nutritional ignoramus if they say fruits and vegetables as if they were synonymous. That's a nutritional ignoramus, I call them. Hope I'm not offending anybody. But if you say fruits and vegetables, then you're revealing that you don't understand how these things work. A fruit is not a vegetable. It's distinct from a vegetable. A fruit is an ovary. It's a womb for a seed. And it's loaded with things that the seed can eat, mostly sugar. A vegetable, on the other hand, has all of its nutrients dispersed, and it's like a vegetable is a solar device, like a solar battery. It sucks up sun energy. This is what a vegetable does. Plant doesn't do this. A vegetable sucks up the sun's energy, and in this magical process, somehow converts that solar energy into physical matter. That's not what a fruit does. And that's what makes vegetables so unbelievably important and powerful. All right, we'll continue when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening. All right, we're back on the bright side. Thank you for joining us. Talking about omega-3s and inflammation and anti-inflammation and veggies. Veggies are ridiculously powerful, as I was saying before we went to break. And veggies aren't fruits. Veggies are solar ray trapping devices. A vegetable sucks up solar energy. What we call a vegetable sucks up solar energy. At least the ones that are exposed to the sun. Some vegetables are underground, but the ones that are exposed to the sun suck up solar energy, turn it into matter. And it's the machinery of solar transformation, if you will, the machinery of photosynthesis, that's what it's called, the machinery of photosynthesis, is incredibly valuable for nutrition. And the stuff that's made from the sun, the sugars and the fats, those are also incredibly valuable for nutrition. And as it turns out, vegetation is a wonderful source of omega-3 fats, the hard-to-find omega-3 fats. Seeds are a great source, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, mustard seeds. Seeds are great sources. In fact, nature will stash away essential fatty acids in the seeds. But the green part, the leaves, and the green component of the vegetation is also packed with omega-3 fats. And even though we don't see it, it doesn't appear that way. When we look at a blade of grass or we look at a leaf, it doesn't look like it's got a lot of fat in it. It does. And really, really important fat and helpful fat and good fat. And it's just one reason why vegetables should comprise the vast majority of our calories. I think 80%. Now, I'm not saying animal food. I'm not going all vegetarian. And I don't think it's a good idea to go all vegetarian from a health perspective, even though there's certainly ethical reasons why you might want to. But from a health perspective, there are things in fats and animal foods. There are things that the animal transforms the vegetation it eats into that you can't get from vegetation. You can't get growth factors from vegetation. You can't really get what are called the branched chain or the building amino acids from vegetation very well. So you do need animal protein, absolutely. But you don't need as much as people think you need. And certainly you need most of our calories needs to be coming from vegetables, not fruits, but from vegetables. All right, tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about omega-3s and omega-6s, and we'll talk about my favorite source of vegetation. My favorite vegetation, at least when it comes to nutritional, it comes from a nutritional perspective, the ultimate food. I think it's the ultimate food. And that's, we'll talk about that tomorrow on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got a couple lines open for you. Let's go to Jerry in Santa Cruz. Good morning. What's up, Jerry?
Hi, good morning. I've had a few 8 rear enders, skiing accident.
Okay.
It should have dislocated my hip, but instead it tore out some muscle from the bone.
Oh, so you're healing now. Are you in the healing process?
That was like 10 years ago, but it still hurts. Yeah, I had an MRI, but and then I felt like, I fell 10 feet off of.
Are you accident prone, Jerry? It sounds like you're a little accident prone there. Tell me, I'm just teasing you. Tell me how I can help you. You just for pain and inflammation kind of thing? For healing? Is that what you're thinking?
I really am concerned about my bones because it's a bone issue, and I do get a neurological. He's called a neurologic chiropractor, and he helps me. But I just want to be sure that I keep those bones healthy. I watched a YouTube on a hip replacement, and I was thinking, I wonder if I never want to have one of those things.
All right, I agree with you. So that's more than bones, though. There's bones and joints. In fact, basically, what you're talking about here is a part of your body called connective tissue. And it sounds like you're having a connective tissue problem, and it's very common, especially as we get older. Connective tissue is the stuff that holds us all intact. You got 4 kinds of stuff that your body's made up of. It's made up of muscles and connective tissue. That's what we call flesh. And then the whole thing is covered, candy-coated, if you will, with another type of tissue, and that's called epithelial tissue. We're not going to go into that, and don't worry about what that's called. And then the whole thing is electrified with neural tissue, nerve tissue. But the bulk of the body is made up of flesh, connective tissue, and muscle tissue, and it sounds like that's where your problem is. Bone, by the way, is a connective tissue. Blood is a connective tissue. Connective tissue connects everything together. And this is very common. This is how we break down. The neural tissue doesn't really, that's not as significant a problem for most people in terms of its breakdown. Obviously, it deteriorates along with everything else, but not as much as the connective and the tissue and the flesh, the muscle tissue, the flesh part. So we got to build your connective tissue up is what we're looking at here, and there's lots of ways to do it. Well, we talked about the omega-3 fats and the omega-6 fats. They're vital because as long as you have inflammation, it's going to be very difficult for the body to repair itself. Get on the Ultimate EFAs, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. Protein, also. Yes?
Excuse me. I have a bottle of EFAs but it says expired.
No, the expired is expired. You don't
Do
want
I throw them out?
I would. Yes, of course. Yeah. When nutrition expires, when nutritional supplements expire, toss them. Expire doesn't mean they're going to kill you. It means they don't have the same potency, and you want potency. So get off some fresh. You know what, Jerry? If you keep, I won't be able to talk to you if you keep interrupting me here. So let me tell you everything, and then I'll let you talk. Okay?
Okay.
So I want to get it. There's a bunch of things you could do. All right. So your ultimate EFAs, 3 in the morning, or any EFAs, but I like the ultimate EFAs. 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. Make sure you're doing a good source of protein. And this isn't just for Jerry, you guys. This is for anybody. This is for anti-aging strategy. This is for repairing. This is for post-surgery. This is for anybody who wants to build tissue, which is all of us. So EFA is number one. Do a supplement to make sure you're getting the right proportion and the minimum amount that you need. Good source of protein, especially protein that contains something called the branched chain amino acids, the BCAAs, whey protein and flesh protein, primarily, also egg protein will get you the BCAAs. Make sure you're doing cartilage-containing products. I know I probably say it every day. We probably talk about cartilage-containing products. That's how important they are for building connective tissue, for fighting wrinkles, for supporting blood vessels, for anti-aging, for what you're talking about with bones and joints. And that would be cartilage-containing foods, bone soup especially, and also glucosamine capsules, glucosamine chondroitin, things like the glucogel caps, and also gelatin. Gelatin is a powerful, powerful nutritional supplement. Cheap old, plain old gelatin, which is collagen essentially, broken down collagen, is a wonderful nutritional supplement for many reasons, but certainly for helping build up connective tissue. Then don't forget about your trace or accessory nutrients. The vitamins and the minerals, your B vitamins and also vitamin C are very important, and also your fatty vitamins, which turn on the building process. Now, by the way, as we get older, we don't absorb these things, so making sure you're absorbing out of the digestive tract, you don't have any liver problems or intestinal problems, that's also important. And then last but most certainly not least, there are polysaccharides. That means long-chain sugars that are important for the joints as well as for the bones. Substances like high hyaluronic acid, which I know many of you guys have heard of, can be very helpful. Also fucoidan, which is a wonderful algae. We're going to talk about algae tomorrow, by the way, which is loaded with these polysaccharides that are important for growth and development, and also for joint tissue specifically. Jerry, don't go away because I'll let you finish up when we come back from our break, okay? But that's a ton of nutritional ideas for you. And if you want one more thing, apple cider vinegar with meals and digestive enzymes with your meals will help you absorb these nutrients out of your food. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we're back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Jerry in Santa Cruz, one last thing, and then I'll let you finish up here. Vitamin C, super duper important for building connective tissue. It's the key that turns on the engine of connective tissue production. All the other things are raw materials. Vitamin C is the key that turns on or activates the production. So make sure you're getting enough vitamin C also with all those other nutrients. What's up, Jerry? So finish up if you have questions.
Okay. I'm just having such a hard time, because with the sea being contaminated by Fukushima radiation, and then the cows and the chickens, they're tortured animals. And
I know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Eat milk and eggs and cheese, how good are they when the
What are you going to do?
tortured?
Jerry, I know. We're stuck here on this planet together. I don't know how to answer that. We trash the ocean. We've trashed it for centuries. When I was a little kid growing up in New York City, I remember a barge going out twice a day from the city into the middle of the ocean, and the barge was pulling all the trash or a bunch of the trash from New York City. It would dump the trash in the ocean and then come back twice a day. And then old cars would wash up on the ocean. This is ridiculous, obviously. This is idiotic.
Isn't whey a waste product?
No, it's not a waste product. And I want to know the bonehead who told you that. It's not a waste product. It used to be wasted. That's true. They used to throw it out, and they used to feed it to the pigs, and then they noticed the pigs were getting all strong and big, and they decided to look what was in the way, and they said, oh my gosh, it's got the most perfect blend of amino acids for building things, not to mention immune-boosting factors and digestive system-boosting factors. It is a processed food, and that is a bit of a problem, but if you eliminate that unfortunate fact that it's processed, it is one of nature's most powerful foods. foods. And if you can't do whey, and many people can't do whey, that's unfortunate. But if you can do whey, you want to be doing it daily, in my humble opinion. Of course, hormone-free cows and grass-fed, ideally. But Jerry, you're raising some interesting questions. I don't know how to answer that. Look, the ocean is awful, and I don't like factory farming. But what are you going to do? This is the world we created, and we're all responsible here. You can't blame anybody, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, they say there's no such thing as a bad employee, only bad bosses. Well, we are the bosses. This is our country. They are our servants, and our servants are bad, and that's because we are bad bosses.
Are you voting? Are you going to go out and vote for any of those clowns?
Yeah.
Which clown? Clown number one? Which clown? Clown number 1, 2, 3? Which one?
All the way.
Clown, the chief of the clown of the clown show.
Back.
Yeah. All right, I got to move, Jerry. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. Hope we helped you out. Melissa in Oregon, welcome to the bright side.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
I wanted to mention that I think it would be great if you could find some time to talk about pregnancy on your show.
Okay.
I think it would be nice to
Maybe
hear
we'll do that with the
perspective.
omega. We'll do that in this omega-3 discussion. We'll talk about pregnancy because omega-3s are one of the most important supplements for a pregnant woman. You're pregnant, I take it, or you know somebody?
I am. I'm
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just starting my third trimester, and I was wondering what your
What to
advice
do?
was. Yeah, just,
Supplement?
as far as supplements and.
Okay, good. That's a great
Any
question.
advice?
First baby?
No, second.
Okay, well, you're going to notice a difference if you start supplementing now. You're a little at the end of it, so, a lot of the development's already occurred. You really want to be supplementing at the beginning of the pregnancy, but still, you're still going to notice some benefits. Even postpartum, after you give birth, if you start supplementing and you do it carefully and you watch what you're eating, your milk will be better. And mother's milk is nature's, for a human being anyway, it's nature's most powerful food, human mother's milk. For a human being, there's nothing better than human mother's milk as far as growth and repair and building substance, building tissue. And so making sure you have the raw material and you don't have the wrong stuff is important. Number one, if you have digestive issues and you have food allergy issues, those are coming out in your milk, the food and allergens and the antibodies, and your baby is going to be more susceptible. So if you have any digestive issues, leaky gut, you need to eliminate those and make sure you're eating correctly and not eating problematic foods, especially the bad fats. You want to make sure you're staying away from trans fats, hydrogenated fats, and instead, you want to make sure you're supplementing with omega-3s. In fact, I would say that may be the most important. I hate saying the most, but it's certainly one of the most important. Omega-3 fatty acids. Fish oil, ALA. Get on your ultimate EFAs from Longevity. Make sure you're eating fish, although you have to be careful, as we were talking about with the last caller, because the ocean is a little trashed. But still, yeah, all of that. But still, fish are contain tremendously valuable nutrients for your milk and for your baby and for you. Not the least of which is iodine, which is another very important supplement for mothers to be. Iodine helps build the baby's brain. So you're going to correct digestive issues, number one. Number two, omega-3 fatty acids. Number three, iodine. Number four, good bacteria. Please make sure your body is loaded with these good bacteria. They are incredibly important for your milk and for your baby. Even as your baby is developing, the bacteria in your gut have an impact on the growth of the baby. So the Biolumin Nightly Essence can be helpful for you, as well as fermented food. Vitamin D, very important for building tissue. Unspeakably important for building all tissue, for growth, for repair, and for building a baby. That means the sun. Vitamin D is also going to be found in food, in fish, and it'll also be found in supplements, but the sun is going to be your best source of vitamin D. The electrolytes in the B complex are also important, if perhaps not with the same degree of importance as the omega-3s, but they're still important. And then also your fatty vitamins, particularly vitamin A. And also, all the fatty vitamins, vitamin A and D go together. As far as minerals go, zinc is incredibly important for growth and repair for both you and the baby. And then also it helps you stabilize sugar, and keeping your sugar stable is also an important strategy. And that would be chromium, vanadium, selenium, sulfur, not to mention the B's and the electrolytes. I know there's tons more, and I know it gave you a bunch, but go listen through the archives and review and write, because it's just impossible to be limited with the amount of nutrients that are important for growing a baby, for building a baby. Does that help, Melissa?
It does. Just real quick, is there anything that I should stay away from as far as
foods that cause digestive distress? eliminate those entirely. And processed fats. Those are your two bad guys, although any processed food really, but especially fried fats, processed fats, chips and crackers and French fries and grilled fats. All of those things are really bad for you and for your baby.
But supplements are pretty much...
No, supplements,
okay.
There's no supplements to stay away from. Absolutely no.
Okay.
Heck no.
Okay. And I can take like melatonin at night if I'm having trouble.
That's not a supplement, but that's a hormone. I don't think that would be a problem, but that's not what we're really talking about here. And the prenatal vitamins that they give you, that is the minimum of the minimum of the minimum wage. It's like working for $3 an hour. Yeah, you might be able to survive, but it isn't all you need. That's for sure.
Okay. Thank
all
you.
All right,
I
take care.
it.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, Virginia in Ohio, welcome to the bright side.
Hi.
Hi, what's going on?
I was just wondering, what vegetables would you suggest eating for someone who has a low thyroid and diabetic?
Well, all the vegetables, although you do want to be a little bit careful with what they call the cruciferous vegetables for your thyroid. Supposedly they contain things that tie up the iodine and keep you from, it may have some negative effects on the thyroid, although I have to tell you I haven't really seen any of that, but that's the rumor anyway. You can bypass that by steaming your veggies, steaming your cauliflower and your broccoli. It really isn't anything specific for diabetes and for the thyroid. Can you turn that? Do you have do you have your radio on, Virginia? I got a weird echo.
I don't.
No? Okay, I think back in the studio, if you could turn that down, I've got a weird echo. I wouldn't worry about avoiding anything specifically, but for the diabetes, what you want to avoid is really super duper sweet fruits. Now, and when I say avoid, I don't mean entirely avoid, but keep your intake of these things down as best as you can. That's really one of the great myths about fruits and vegetables. I said earlier how fruits are not vegetables, and one of the reasons is because fruits are loaded with sugar. And it's a special form of sugar called fructose that is really hard on the liver. So you want to be somewhat careful about the fruits, and I wouldn't say that there's any particular vegetables that you need to use, but just making sure that you're getting all your vegetables is important. Chromium, vanadium, magnesium, vegetables that have these kinds of minerals, particularly beets, and also nuts. They're not a vegetable, of course, but nuts sometimes can be helpful for people. Good sources of these sugar-binding or sugar-controlling nutrients like sulfur and selenium and chromium and vanadium. Thanks for your call, Virginia. I'm going to try to get one more call in. In California, what's going on? Welcome to the bright side.
Hi. My sister has shingles, and I wanted to help her.
Okay, here's a couple things for you, and we're out of time, so I'm just going to go fast.
Yeah.
Selenium is the first thing to think about with shingles. Very powerful antiviral. Vitamin C is also antiviral. Make sure she's getting enough vitamin C. But the most important strategy for dealing with shingles is to strengthen the immune system. The only people who get shingles are people who are immune compromised. So making sure you're keeping your intake of foods that throw off immunity, that's the processed foods and food allergens and foods that cause you digestive distress. That's really the most important thing, in addition to an all-around nutritional supplement program that features vitamin C and the B vitamins and selenium, and also to a certain extent probiotics, which can have antimicrobial properties. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening, friends. Have an awesome, wonderful, beautiful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.